What is going on, my friends? Vitaly Dubin is here, and welcome to another episode of today's in Crypto Show. Well, the situation of the Ukraine and Russian conflict is escalating in a full-fledged war right now. Day number 2. It's absolutely insane what is going on. People are being killed. There's all kinds of craziness going on. There's a huge list of sanctions that United States, the European Union, and a lot of other countries are imposing on Russia today that we are going to discuss in today's video. The Russian ruble has plummeted to its all-time low, and Bitcoin is actually doing a V-shaped recovery right now, which all we're going to discuss today, as well as some good news that are happening in the crypto market. So let's get started. We do see a green day today, 11% up in the global cryptocurrency market. So this is very good, and a lot of people were very negative on the price of Bitcoin, thinking it's going to top down and reach even lower levels. And I told you guys, we have entered this golden opportunity, which is right here when we plummeted below this level, this green level. Anywhere in this area is a golden opportunity to buy Bitcoin, and the bulls have stepped in. Well, right now the stock market and Bitcoin is highly correlated, so the stocks are also rising today. But we are seeing some major upward movement. Yes, we're still trading below the 50 days moving average line. However, we do create a higher low from the previous one on January 23rd. And it was very nice to see the day close like this with a bullish engulfing candle and continuing going upwards. You can see the momentum going on right here. You know, Russia controls 11% of the mining power, and a lot of crypto is being held by the Russians. And Ukraine is also a big country that is legalized Bitcoin crypto. So this definitely has an effect on the crypto markets. But first of all, let's discuss what is going on right now in the world. Well, the first big thing is today this global list of sanctions on Russia, which are coming from European Union, from United States, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Taiwan. All of them, they are creating a huge list of sanctions that are affecting Russia in a big way. This list of sanctions includes the big banks, right? That they're essentially seizing and freezing the assets of largest banks of Russia, and the officials and the people that are close to Putin, this oligarch, this multi-billionaires, they're essentially freezing their assets as well in the European Union to not allow them to hold any money there. And one of the biggest sanctions that has been imposed is the prohibition to provide any technology to Russia, right? Which Russia can, it will undermine its ability to modernize the military, to renovate, to, all of that stuff. They're cutting off 50% of the tech exports into Russia. The Moscow Exchange Index closed down 33% on a day, and there is considering right now to ban Russia from the SWIFT system, which is a much higher, even higher sanction, which will essentially stop allowing Russia to do any kind of business in a banking financial institutions in Europe and anywhere worldwide, right? This is a high security network that facilitates payments among 11,000 financial institutions in 200 countries. So think about that. If SWIFT, if Russia is going to essentially be banned from SWIFT, they'll cut their access to 200 countries. So essentially the whole world is against Russian invasion, apart from Russian allies, which includes China, Belarus, and Chechnya. Now, also we see a sanction from the Germany coming up with a huge pipeline of natural gas export from Russia, the Nord Stream 2, which provides huge amount of gas to Europe through Germany. We are talking about 750-mile pipeline that was completed in September but has not yet received final certification. And now this Nord Stream 2 could deliver 55 billion cubic meters of gas per year. That's more than 50% of Germany's annual consumption, and could be worth as much as 15 billion to Gazprom, this Russian state-owned company that controls the pipeline. So that's a huge step. Of course, it will have repercussions and consequences, people paying higher prices per gas, people paying also higher prices for oil, because Russia is the third larger export of oil to the world, and sanctions in this area can have a negative effect of people paying more money for gas. But it's also a step to prevent Russia to profit from all of this situation, right? And look at this, European Union saying we'll hold the Kremlin accountable. The sanctions are aimed to hit Russia's financial, energy, and transport sectors, include export controls and trade financial bans. They now target 70% of the Russian banking sector and key state-owned companies, and sought to make it impossible for Russia to upgrade its oil refineries, while also targeting Russian elites by curbing their deposits so they cannot hide their money anymore in safe havens of Europe. Japan is also on the list, freezing the assets of certain Russian individual and financial institutions, and also banning exports to Russian military organization. Australia also imposing further sanctions on oligarchs. I mean, New Zealand is having sanctions, Taiwan, United States, export blocks on technology that severely limit Russia's ability to advance its military and aerospace sector, and sanctions on Russian banks and whom he described as corrupt billionaires and their families, and United Kingdom exclude Russian banks from the UK financial system. An asset freeze on Russian state bank VTB, which has a lot of money there. I think $250 billion freezing. All the major manufacturers that support Putin's war machine, they're freezing their assets. So it will have a long-term effect, of course, on the war that can be felt within 6 months or so. It's not like have an immediate effect, but it will be definitely felt within 6 months period. So those sanctions is definitely can help to stop all this craziness that is going on right now. The Ukrainian Bitcoin exchange volume is spiking 200%. There is a lot of donations that are flowing to Ukraine right now to support the people on the ground. So the crypto, as you know, being recognized as a legal in Ukraine, and essentially more Ukrainians are looking into crypto. As you know, their currency also is falling, so they cannot just rely on holding the hryvnia fiat currency. They better go and buy some Bitcoin. That's why we're seeing this rise in the price of Bitcoin, because what else they will do? They will hold ruble, they will hold dollar, they will hold hryvnia. I mean, among all of this uncertainty, no, crypto is the answer. So we're seeing that going on, and we definitely see a lot of support to the Ukrainian. We're seeing that the FTX exchange giving $25 to each Ukrainian, so that's a good thing. We're seeing that this Pussy Riot founder, Trippy Labs and Pleasure DAO, they're creating Ukrainian DAO. Like this Ukraine DAO is a Web3 decentralized autonomous organization. They're going to be selling NFTs. That's right, selling NFTs of Ukraine flags to support Ukraine. Okay, so that's essentially what's going on. And the Ukraine military group received $400,000 in Bitcoin donation in one day. That's what Bitcoin is so important. You can, freeze the SWIFT bank accounts, you can freeze the assets, but you cannot really stop Bitcoin. You cannot really freeze Bitcoin, which means essentially that Bitcoin has a very bright future, right? We already know that. Where else those oligarchs and billionaires are going to park their money if you can see that the bank accounts can be just like that frozen, right? Yeah, so that's another thing that is important for you to realize. The US Bitcoin miners expanding operation despite price volatility. It's expected to grow much larger in size, the Bitcoin mining operation. And we are seeing in Russia, essentially the Bitcoin mining largely unaffected, and the miners in Russia continue to mine as usual. Okay, they have 11% of the Bitcoin mining power. Even if they stop mining Bitcoin, I mean, Bitcoin is still going to be secure. It's going to be a little less secure, but for a short period of time. But we don't see it happening. Russia continues to mine Bitcoin as usual. The BNY Mellon Bank plans to launch digital asset custody platform later this year, allowing institutional investors to hold Bitcoin and Ethereum, and being the first of a kind. I think what we're seeing in the UK, it's really vibrant and active digital asset market. It's talking about UK, but here is really, he said the first to enter the global digital custody market. We're seeing a lot of liquidation happening from the short sides, people that are speculating the price will go lower. Actually, we're seeing a lot of liquidation happening in the short squeeze right now. One big executive is saying digital gold narrative is valid as long as MicroStrategy holds Bitcoin, because it holds a lot of Bitcoin, right? $125,000 Bitcoin. And institutions who bought Bitcoin via on-chain transactions seem not sold their holdings yet. They're holding them. Institutions running algorithmic trading bots think BTC is a tech stock. Yeah. What else is important? Well, this type of putting open to talks with Ukraine and Minsk, but only if Ukraine is going to surrender. It's not going to happen. What they are doing is they're trying to demilitarize and what they call the denazification of Ukraine, which is what Putin invented in his head, right? And essentially, it's not going to happen. European Union preparing to freeze Putin and Lavrov asset, this head guys of Russia. And we are seeing, the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, criticized Europe for weak response and urges Putin to hold talks. We're seeing something going on in Europe that has long not seen since World War II. And he is essentially calling out for the world to cut Russia off the SWIFT financial system, imposing oil embargo and enforcing a no-fly zone in Ukraine airspace. Okay, so there's a lot that is going on right now in Ukraine and in Russia and in the world that is going to be definitely a big implication in the world. The crypto community is saying fuck war, right? I mean, who wants to have a war? Nobody really wins, apart from maybe some parties. Barry Silbert says on Twitter, fuck war. The chairman of FTX exchange, not financial advice, but fuck all this price stuff, go outside and do something nice for someone. Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin also is saying that essentially he's calling this invasion of Russia to Ukraine as a crime against Russia and against Ukraine in the hands, against both of these crowds of people, because you know, in Russia people actually go and protest, okay, against the invasion. The Russian people, a lot of them, they're like, what the heck is going on? We don't want to have a war. We did not subscribe to it. And actually, what Russia is doing, well, Russia is actually arresting these people. Right? Russia arrests Protestants. That's what's going on. There are people and groups, right? Hundreds arrested in anti-war protests in Russia. So there are people going out to the streets and they're actually saying, what the fuck is going on? We don't want to have a war. And police in Russia are arresting thousands of people right now and putting them to jail, arresting them, right? And that's not good. I mean, that's a dictatorship. That's preventing the freedom of speech in Russia. So that's kind of what's going on. And on top of that, we are seeing the head of Chechnya, Ramzan Kadyrov, advising Ukrainian President Zelensky to apologize. He's saying, taking this opportunity, I want to give advice to the still active president of Ukraine before he becomes the former. Call our commander-in-chief, President Vladimir, and apologize. Essentially, he is on the side of Russia, and they are about to send an army of their own troops to help Russia in their invasion to Ukraine. So a lot of craziness that is going on right now, as it relates to Bitcoin. You know, we already discussed that. Bitcoin is holding great, and this opportunity is the golden one right here to actually buy some Bitcoin in this area. And right now, drip is actually being in a very, very lucrative pricing, about $102 right now. It's not going to stay this for this long after this dip, so it's a very good opportunity to go and buy some drip right now and staking and receive passive rewards. And if you want to learn how to do that, you can go to deflationarydailyROI.com, watch the webinar, and get started. It's simple as that. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I hope that you are strong. Send some love and support and prayers to the people that are there in the Ukraine that are struggling right now. And hopefully the situation is going to resolve very, very soon. Subscribe to this channel to stay up to date. Leave a comment, put a like on this video, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Today in Crypto Show.